Namaskara Bangalore. Hegidira. All right. So welcome back to one more meetup of .NET Bangalore. After 2 years, we are here again for learning new technologies. And so, for me, if I'm talking about these tech talks and meetups, are for to understand where we are as an industry and what are the new technologies into the market and how we can adapt these technologies in our day-to-day life and in our projects so we can get benefit on that. So on this note, today I am going to start my new topic, which is secure an API with JWT token in .NET 6. So friends, as you know, security is a major concern for every enterprise nowadays. Even as a developer or as a user, we also don't want to install or download any app which is create they can keep our information, precious information from our mobile. So we also want a secured application which we want to download in our phone. So the same way our enterprise also wants a secured application. So our users or people who are using our system, so they can also get the benefit on that. Okay, so that is the reason. And if I am talking about the security, so security, if you go for any application which you are developing in your office also, if you are working as a developer, so you also see the user login screen in your every application when you press F5. So you also get a chance to work on the security features, but you practically you didn't get a chance to work on write the code always, because generally we work in a project which is already built in, but we are entering into a system which is just a support project or which is already going on, so we did not get. So today, every step, how you will implement the security and all these things, what are the phases, I will try to help you in every phases. Okay. So this is about me. I am Saurabh Mishra. I am an entrepreneur, developer, international author, speaker, trainer, and animator. I am C# Corner MVP and Pro Project International MVP because I am writing blogs for C# and .NET technologies. I am running YouTube channel called Saurabh Notes. So if you are a .NET enthusiast and you want to learn new technologies, you can subscribe my channel on Saurabh Notes. And I am also available on Twitter and Instagram. I am also a published author of Practical High Charts with Angular. So this is the book published by A-Press. And this book is a very nice book where you can learn a lot on Angular and high charts. So if you want to build a dashboard in your screen, so how you can build a nice dashboard with a large data, so this book will help you. So this is the world's first book which talks about in the combination of high charts and Angular. Second thing is that there is a 7th chapter in this book, and in the 7th chapter you will get how you can consume an API, and this API is from NASDAQ. So how you can consume a NASDAQ API and you can connect with your Angular application and you can see what are the shares you have bought and what are the status, and you can create an upcoming prediction like how this particular market will go on. That also you can analyze very easily. These are all things that you will get in this particular book. So what is the agenda of the day is, first we will discuss about the authentication and authorization. Then we will discuss about what is the difference between traditional key-based authentication, and then we will discuss about what are the benefits we will get on the token-based authentication. Then we will discuss about identity framework, and then we will discuss about JSON Web Token, and then we have a demo. So this particular session is going to be on a heavy demo. So we will discuss about each and every phase, and we will discuss about how we can write the code on it. So we heard this word authentication and authorization every time in our when we are doing development or when we go for any interview kind of thing. So they ask about this kind of question, how you implement security and how you do all these things. So authentication is the kind of thing. Once you enter into your application, it asks you like what is your login, user and password. And once you enter into it, so it will check you are a registered user or you are an authenticated user or not. So that's what validate the identity of a registered user who is accessing a service or application. So if user is registered, then we will give permission to enter into the system. Same as authorization. Authorization is the process of validating a particular registered user, he is authenticated or not. If he is authenticated, we will provide them permission whatever he is designed for that particular thing. So for example, a person is working in an office and that particular person is working in finance department, suppose. So yes, he is having an identity card, he can enter into the building because he is authorized person for that particular building. He is authenticated into it. But for the authorization phase, yes, he can enter into the finance department. But if I am talking about can he go into the network security department, maybe company can give him a permission. So that is the kind of authorization. You don't want to give every person a permission, they can enter into, they can access all the web APIs of your system. You can't give them permission. So based on role and security, you are giving them authorization. So today in this session, we will also try to understand how in our code, how you can authorize a particular user as well. Now, what is cookie-based authentication? When I am talking about cookie-based authentication, so this is the kind of thing like we are working on like Gmail, Hotmail and all these things. Once user click on the username password, they enter into it, so they will generate a session ID. So how session works? If you work in a long time in software development, so you know there are two copies are created. One copy is created in session ID in your server, one is created in your cookie. Okay. Now the challenge is if suddenly millions of users enter into the same time, suppose some match is going on or anything is going on or something, result is coming out, millions of users enter into the same time, automatically sessions are created. And once sessions are created, it will create a load in your server. So once your load is server, you will get some performance issue. Second thing is that sometimes, it's not possible always, but your cookie get also stolen from the outside user. And that is also one of the challenge here in the cookie-based authentication. Now in token-based authentication, what happened? User sends a request to your server with his username and password. Now in the return, what he will get if his username and password is correct, he will get a token. If token key it will correct, so token key will be stored into a particular user's area, and next time this variable token and user ID will be sent for accessing other APIs. So in the token ID is the kind of thing which is storing your username plus its user type, what type of roles you want to give. In that token ID you will get everything. And this is safe as well because here we are not generating any session ID. So there is no problem on your particular performance issues also, you are not getting any stolen problem also not yet because password we are not storing in the token ID. This is the safe thing. And each time, because the security part is we are giving token ID only for certain time, like 1 minute or 2 minutes. After that, if user wants to access again, we have to refresh that particular token. So that is the security on the token-based authentication. Now, in this particular today's session, I am going to work on the identity framework, which is one of the best framework of Microsoft. So, identity framework provides you lot of internally they will provide you lot of less code. You don't need to write much code on it, and you can get tables as well, like users table, roles table. No need to create tables. It will provide you functions as well. Suppose if user wants to register a particular as a user and he is not typing a proper password, like A to Z, capital letter, @ and something numbers also come. Those things also they have write in their methods. So no need to write lot of code on that and this kind of thing. So everything you will get here. Role-based security you will get, profile data you will get, claims data you will get, token also get. So these are all things provided by identity framework very easily. You can install it from UX. Today we will see. And if you want to work on that, so this is the namespace which is required, Microsoft.ASP.NET-Core.identity. So this you have to install on it. Now we discuss about the JSON Web Token. So JSON Web Token is the open standard which is defined for compact and self-contained way to securely transmitting information between parties as a JSON template. So what happened? This is the kind of token he generated. Once user is logged in and once he return in the response, so this will return you this type of token ID. Now this token ID is converted to three things. One is header, second is payload, and third is signature. So header is the kind of thing, here you will create a secret key. Secret key you can define in your way, so that way it will create automatically. And this particular payload from here to here, this will keep a lot of information, like your user ID, your what is the type of user he is a super admin, system admin. If you want to need more information, this part you can contain. and this is the kind of thing, it's a GUID kind of thing, but internally it will take a lot of things internally. And this is the kind of signature which is showing what type of user you are, and it's a signature for logged in user. This way it will generate that also. So this is changing every time. Once you refresh a token, these two things are always changes. So today we will see this also. So as I said, header if I am talking about, so in the header type, it will tell you what type of token you are using. Today we are going to use JWT, and there is a signing algorithm on that. Payload you can use like user ID, first name, last name, role type, anything you can store here. So these things you will store in your claims and then you can see. And signature is the kind of thing you are assuring a token was not changed. So this is the based on your user, the signature will be there. Now we'll come into the demo. So before I jump into the demo, today we have 7 steps, and in these 7 steps we will try to write our code as well. Plus in these 7 steps you will get a secured application with authorized application. In the first step, what we are going to do, we will create a database, and after that we will create a DB context file. Why I am creating here today DB context file? Because through identity framework and entity framework code, we will create a code first approach and we will create a database. This particular database will provide the users table automatically, roles tables, claims table, token table, automatically everything you will get in your identity framework. Then in the next step, we will create an authentication controller, and in this authentication controller we will write a RegisterUser method. This RegisterUser method will be responsible to enter your users for your particular database. Now in the third step, we will write a login user method. So in this method, user will type his username and password. It will check if these are authenticated user or not. This is a very simple thing till your third step. Now in the fourth step, once your user is able to log in into the system, that will generate a token. That's why today we are here. So it will generate a new token and it will give you an expiry time as well. Now in the fourth step, once it will create a token and then will provide them a permission to generate a refresh token table, because whatever token you will generate, it will a time frame of 1 minute only. After that, if user wants to use your particular web API or services, he needs more time, so it will generate a refresh token. Once the refresh token table is created in database, and then we'll write a code to generate a refresh token each and every time. And once our refresh token is completed, then we'll work on the authorization. So today we have 2 types of user. One is super admin and then we have an employee. So based on that, super admin will provide them some permission and then we'll provide them an employee permission. So today I will not type all the code. I have a step-by-step course. I will try to explain you so you can understand very well. Okay, so I am going to start. So if you want to create a new database into your particular Visual Studio or anywhere, so this is the data connection which you get in the Server Explorer. You have to right click and you have to create a new server database. And from the new server database, you can type your server name like local and your database name, and then your database will be created. Once you do these things, in the next step, you have to go to your properties, and in your properties, in this particular connection string area, you have to copy this particular thing, because here you will get your data source and then you need a catalog for your whatever database you have created, and then you have to create some keys like connection string and then your default connection. So this you have to paste it here. Now in the next step, what you have to do is we have to create a appdb context file. Appdb context file is responsible for connecting your code to your database. So that's what we are going to work on that. So if you want to work on this appdb context, so then we need a identity DB context as well. Identity DB context, if you want to work is, so we need some particular dependencies from our NuGet. One is you have to install entity framework core. Second thing, you have to install entity framework.sql server. Third thing, you have to install entity framework.tools. Why this third one? Because once you write complete code, once you want to do for the migration. Migration is the way, like if you are working in a code first approach, whatever code you have created, then you want to connect that particular code script to your particular SQL Server database. So tools is also required. So these all three things you can install from your NuGet packages, and then you have to connect this identity DB context, application user. This I have created from myself because I need these three things: first name, last name, and custom. This is a particular model which I have created and which is connect with my identity user. Identity user is a particular class. In this particular class I have lot of fields which is required for me for my generating a password and all. So you can see this is an inbuilt particular thing which I got from here. So here you will get all the related fields into particular things. That also you have to connect. Now when we are working in a .NET 6, so when we working in a .NET course, till that time we have a middleware called startup.cs. Now Microsoft is directly comes in .NET 6 with a particular builder you have to write, like web application.create builder, and in this you have to write your middleware. So previously we write our code into till .NET 5 and .NET Core 3.1 we write in a startup.cs. Now we'll work in a program.cs. So nothing is much change. You have to write everything here only. Now here we have to add first our connection string. So here if you see our Swagger is required, and after that we are generating our connection string. So for connection string I have created a class, and then I have a SQL server. So in this SQL server I am going to create my configuration which I have created in my app setting.json. So this is my default connection key which I have pasted there, and then I have to connect with my identity. So this identity server source is required, which is application user, and destination is my identity role. Then I required AppDB context from my framework store, and this is for my default token provider which I require. These are the three things you have to do then, and then in your package manager console you have to come and you have to write two commands. One is add migration, and in the add migration you have to write your particular file name, which file you want to create, and then you have to press enter. Once you press enter, here in the migration folder you will get your file. So in this particular file you will get everything, complete script you will get here. Like you can see here I have a SPNet roles, I have a users. Users, you can see all the fields which I required for me. It is generating everything. How this is generating? Because identity framework. I am using identity framework. I am not using any code on that. User claims I am getting, users logins I am getting, roles I am getting, everything I am getting here. Now, once this particular command is done, then we have to write a command called update database. So this update database you have to write, and once you press enter, and if you open your particular database, so automatically you will get here all the tables which you required for that. Okay, so you can see here automatically my tables are created, like users, tokens, roles, logins, claims, and whatever required for that particular identity framework things I will get automatically. So that is the benefit. If you connect your identity DB context through your app DB context, you will get everything. This is the benefit on it. Now in the next step what I am going to do is I am going to create a authentication controller, and this particular authentication controller will be responsible for a particular registering a particular user. So if I want to register a user or anything into that, so we need four things. One is user manager. This is required for my user related things like creating a user, finding a particular user is correct or not. Those are all things I will get into that user manager. User manager is the part of my identity framework only. This is the first thing is required. Then I need in future this particular role manager. Role manager will be responsible for role based authentication kind of thing and authorization. So that time I will use it. And then app DB context is required because in future in this particular application I am going to create some more tables like refresh token and all. So those things I will store. So for the save changes I required this, and this configuration is also required because I want to access my whatever I have written in my particular app setting.json. So that's what this configuration is also required. So I will inject all these things, and then I have written this particular method which is called a RegisterUser. This RegisterUser is the kind of thing which is required a particular register VM view model. In this view model, what I have written is like first name, last name, email address, username and password. So email address, username and password is required for me because without these three things I can't give him permission to insert into my database. So these three things I provided into that, and then what I am going to do is these things will come from my form body. Form body you can use from your Postman, you can pass from your Angular application, whatever you want you can pass it very easily. And then in the third phase, what happened, it will check this particular username password you have written, this is properly written or not. If it is not written, we are sending a bad request. In the second step, we will check a particular email address which you have written, this is already exist or not into my database. So this method is also, I got it from my identity framework only. So if you see, find by name is also that particular part I will get. I will show you right now a lot of methods here you will get. You can see there are a lot of methods like get username, find by name. These are all things you will get automatically from your identity framework. That is the benefit. If your application demand tells you have to write your own business logics, you can create your own methods as well in your FDB context. So you can write your own as well. But for now, I am using that. If that particular user is exist, we will give them a bad request like user is already exist. And if these two conditions are passed, so then we'll give them permission to store into our application user table, like whatever we have written into that particular Postman or anywhere, and then we'll store with this create async method. Create async method is very beneficial. If you are not writing password properly, it will internally check. That is also from identity framework only. You no need to write. And if your particular request is duplicate kind of thing, that is also it will take care. It will give you a proper messages also. So if you want to return a response also, that also you can return it from this create async also. Then if this particular thing is correct, so in the result data it will give you automatically one more property called succeeded. So this is a kind of property where you will get true and false. If you are getting false, so it will redirect to for the bad request like user is not created. If it is true, then it will give you a request like user is created. So this is the first step is required if you want to go for the authentication. So we will store our users kind of thing. So now I am going to run this particular application, and this application will redirect me to the Swagger because I am working on the web API. So you know my Swagger is running now, and if I coming here and click on the tryout button, so you can see here I am getting first name, last name, email address, username and password. What are the things I have created for my register VM model? Everything I am getting because I want to pass it from form body. So now we'll write some users. So now I want to register this as a user. I am clicking on the execute button. So I want to demonstrate now the power of create async button because I have not written password properly. So it will give me error. So now you can see in the new user I am getting all the collection. Now when I am pressing F10, a result data what gives me? It gives me an error. What error it is giving me? Password requires upper. So what I mean to say is, if you are using these methods from your identity framework, you will get all the security. But if you want to write your own, you can write your own methods as well. So here you will get a description as well. If you want to return this particular description, you can pass directly in the response and you can show to your user what is the problem. So now I am going to run this particular thing, and in my Swagger I am going to do properly whatever mistake I have done. And then I am clicking on the execute again. So now if you see, you will get a succeeded message, and this succeeded, you can see this is a true. So if this is true, then it will give you a message called user is created. So if you see the response area, it will give you user is created. Now by mistake, if user is coming and he is clicking on the execute button and he wants to store it, again create async method is very smart. What it will give you a message, you can see. It will give you he is a duplicate user. The same message you can transfer into your response as well. Username particular is already taken. So these are the benefits of identity framework. Now my user is created. Now in the next step what I am going to do is I am going to create a login user method. If you come to the database, 1 minute, I will show you that as well. So generally what you do here, we are working on HTTP post. You know HTTP posts are very secure. Okay, nobody can see your things. Here we are working on web API, so definitely you have to do something. Now once it will store into your database, it will store in encrypted way. So internally it will store in encrypted way only. I am just showing you. So you know this is my user, and if you come here you can see password hash. So this is stored in your hash code only. So internally it will take care everything, identity framework. You don't need to worry about that. And it will convert once you type your login and username password. So that time also it will convert in your language only. So no need to worry on the security side. And then once we generate token, so that time also you will get more information on that. Okay. So now time to give permission a user, he can enter into the system. So now what I have done is in the app setting.json, in the third or fourth step you will require these things. One is you have to create three things. Is one is secret key. Secret key is required once you want to generate a header time. So that time I show you a header, payload and signature, if you remember, for the JSON token. So that time this secret key is required. Okay. Then you have to define your audience. You can type any type of audience, what is your user and all. And then you have to define your issuer. So issuer is the kind of thing, once you run this particular application, whatever localhost or whatever URL you have, you can type here. These are the three things required in the first step. Now in the second part, you have to come to your program.cs, and program.cs you have to write two things. One is app.use authent. You have to use here use authentication and use authorization. These two things you have to define into your middleware. And in the third thing, I will come into my authentication controller, and in the authentication controller I have written here one more method called login user ID. This will responsible to give me permission enter into the system. So there I have created a one more model which is called login user view model. You have to write your email address and password. So suppose you are working in Angular application, definitely there is a text box which you encrypt with your password only, black dot. So you will provide that much security, you will provide from your side. Now your request will come here in the form of post. If you are using HTTP post, it is obviously it is a safe thing only. So no need to worry about that. Now once your things are coming here, now we will check this particular user password is correct or not. If he is correct, then we will give them permission. Okay boss, you can enter into the system. Okay. So here what I have done, first we will check a particular model state, email password are correct or not. If not, then we will give them a bad request, and then we'll check a particular email address correct or not. Then again I am using my identity framework method only, find by email async. This will return me user is exist or not into my database. And then this particular check password async, what you were asking, this is responsible for doing all these things, because here I am passing password in ABCD. Now it will check your hash 256A and all these things. This particular method will be responsible for that. And then if these two things are correct, then it will give me permission for the user is signed it properly. Currently I am not generating any token. I am just showing you your username password is correct or not, and you are entering into the system. This is just a general way you are doing. So now I am going to run my Swagger again. You can run it from Swagger as well, and you can run it from your Postman as well. If you are working with Postman, then you have to come to your this particular body section, and in the body section you have to click on the raw, and then you have to choose your JSON, because we are passing things from JSON only. Okay, and then you have to write here your user ID. Front end generally we didn't do, because that particular password is taking. If you are working in Angular application through service, you will pass your HTTP post. Your service will come here. Request will
form like I want to encrypt.
Hash only. It's
So
a hash
it's a
256.
one-way encryption always.
Yeah.
So encryption is not foolproof.
So your particular username password was correct, and that was the reason you are it gives you a permission. User is signed in properly.
So this line number 71 where he check password, and you are sending the password to this method in plain text, right? But this is not going to check if this password exists in the database. No. It will use this plain text.
During the registration, I'll type the password, and that should be encrypted in a content only.
So you are getting a response as user is signed in properly. So right now till we didn't generate any token. This is just a normal way user is entering into the system. He has write his password. Yes, his record are in database. We are just checking. Now in the third step, what I am going to do is we are going to work on the generating a token. So if you want to generate a token, add DB context we already done. Now you have to write these things because you are giving a permission into your middleware. You are adding a authentication. So if you want to add authentication, that time you required authentication scheme. Here we are using JWT bearer token. So this also you have to install from your NuGet package. And then you required a challenge scheme. So this is also you have to define with your JWT bearer token. And then you need a default scheme. So you have to define your authentication scheme kind of thing. You have to provide some more permission like save token, required HTTPS metadata, and token validation parameter. This is most important thing because here you have to define your validating signing key. Whatever secret key we have defined, you have to define into your issuer, then issuer, audience, all these things. This particular thing is very much important, which is called a clock skew. So generally by default, when you generate a token from your token based authentication, that time it will create a token time is 10 minutes. So suppose when you are generating a token and you are storing for 1 minute and you are not making this clock skew as a 0, so that time it will by default it will take as a 10 minutes only. So if you are going below than 10 minutes, then you have to make it 0. So this is one of the important aspects you have to think. Okay. Now you have to come to your authentication controller, and in the authentication again we'll work on the same method, but this time in this same method what we are going to do is in the login user method, here we are generating a token. So you can see last time I have only a message. This time what I am going to do, once request goes, in the return I will get token ID, and this token ID is my security key, and from this security key only we will access all the APIs and everything. So this is very much important. So what I have done here, I have written here a method called generate JWT token async and user exists. So this is the all the register VM login VM method, like my email, password and all these things I will store here, and I will come, and then I required a claim. So claim is a C# type class, which is a, like we are working on dictionary. So we have a key value pair kind of thing. It's a name value pair. In the name value pair, what you can do, you can store your things, what are the things you really need required for understanding your things. So you required a name, identifier you required, email, subject, whatever things you required, you can create a number of claims here. And then what I have done here, I have created a new GUID for that JTI kind of thing. And then here I am passing my secret key, which I have written in my app setting.json. And here in the token, through this issuer, audience and my token key, I am generating my expiry time as well, like add minutes like 1. So I want for security reason only 1 minute, not 10 minutes. Okay. And then whatever claims I have registered here, those claims also I am written into the auth claims. And my signing credential, whatever I have said, like HMAC, CHH 256. So this is the kind of thing which is responsible for all these things what you were asking. So this will take care all these things. Okay. And in the response, what I am going to do is I have created this auth result VM. So this is also view model I have. Here what I am doing is I am passing here token. I will pass in future refresh token also. Right now I am not passing it. And then I have a expire date, what time it will expire. So these things I will pass here. So you can see right now I am passing just a token key and expire it. And after that in the response, it will gives me my token generated token key. So now I am going to run this particular Swagger again. And one more thing I have done is, here in the home controller I have write here authorized keyword. So now once our token is generated, we will check we are authorized to access this home controller or not. And there is no role based authorization I am doing like super admin and all. It's a general way I am doing. So anybody who is having this token, he can enter into the system. Right now we are in this. Now after 1 minute, After 1 minute, you don't want to log in again. You don't want to type your username and password, but you want to access that particular system. And you are authenticated and you are authorized for that also. So that time you need a refresh token.
So pretty much we are using.
Expiry time for that token we will give 6 months. I will show you. It will come. Right now it's a 1 minute. It's not 10 minutes. We'll go. That's what we will go step by step. So now this time I will get token key. So you can see I am getting my token key, which we have got, and in this token key we have a refresh token. Right now it is null because I am not passing it at this point of time in my model, and I am getting the expire at time. Now if I am coming to my home controller, which I told you I am just passing that. So if I come to my authorization part, and here I have this particular token key, I am just passing it. So it's okay because time got over that time.
Before the employee / employee in everyone.
Oh yes. So as I said, 1 minute is the time. So we are getting this particular message. Okay, you are entering into the home controller. After 1 minute, if I am going to check, I will get unauthorized. Okay. Now if you want to understand this particular token as well, so there is a website called JWT.io. So if you go there and you pass their token, you can understand what is inside into that.
Secret key, right?
Huh?
It is encrypted with that secret key, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that site know? I mean, how will it decrypt?
Which site?
It will deserialize it when we get it.
No, that's this JWT.io.
Yeah, how this JWT.io know? Because it knows like encryption way. There is a header and there is a payload and then it is a signature. So based on that, this will understand. But here, the security things, you will not passing your password. So for understanding how this is generating your things, that's what I have done here. Like, you know, I have passed your claims like email, subject, JTI, expiry time, everything I have passed. So that's what you are writing, and you are getting your signature type, which I have make as a SHA-256. This is responsible for your security thing. So that's what your authorized time. Once you enter into the web API, it will understand, okay, he is this type of user, he is having this type of email, and then you can do your business logic into it. So that is the thing. I will tell you if you want to know more in offline, because we are running shortage. That is the thing. So now if I am clicking again on the send button, so you can see I am getting unauthorized because my time gets over. In this 1 minute pass, so my time gets over. Now in the next step, now what I am going to do is I am refreshing this particular token, because now each and every time I don't want to put my login user and all these things every time. Now here what I am going to do, I will write a refresh token. So this refresh token, once you enter into the system, your token is generated. Now your times get over. So from your Angular app or any app, you have to pass that particular refresh token. You have to send a request to your API, and that particular request API, you have to pass token, which token they have given you first time. So this first time token will give you a new token, and from this new token you have to take it, place that way. So that way things are working on here. So now here what I have done, here we are not generating actually a refresh token. We are first creating our refresh token table. So this is a table which is not related to your identity framework. First of all, this is I have created like ID token, JW token. These things are required for me. I am connecting this foreign key with my user table as well. And in the next step, what I am going to do is I am storing these refresh token. And once refresh token is stored, I will save through my entity framework way what I am doing. And here you can see in my login user, I am passing this refresh token as well. So right now, last time you have seen refresh token is null. This time you will get refresh token as well. So this refresh token will helpful. No need to log in again and again. And here you will get the expiry time as well. So these are the things you will do. So now and then what you have to do, because here I am generating a refresh token from my own. Again, you have to go for the add migration, because here I am adding a new table. So this new table is also required for me into my database. Because each time once you log in into the system, this time all the request whatever you are doing is stored in refresh token as well. That is the thing. So that also you have to done. So I am just running this particular application now. We have just 2 steps more for authorization. For step by step I have created many applications for understanding you guys.
Can you open app setting.js?
Sure. There is only 3 keys you will get. Yeah.
Yeah. So here you mentioned secret. This is strong token. What is use of that?
Use of that once you go for the header kind of thing. So header, it will encrypt with this only. So this is nothing but internally. So whatever we have written in our middleware, if you remember, I show you the middleware program.cs. So if you come here in this particular token validation parameter, so I have passed this secret key. So based on that, it will create a sure signing key. And here I am using this symmetric security key. So this will encode it. It will encode that particular writing, whatever I have written. And you can change it that also.
So without knowing this, that website, how it will be able to decrypt the token?
The secret key is required for, let's say you have different API. The secret key is required for other APIs also. So that secret key will be used in other APIs. And it will come to know. Because we need a secret key, if you know the symmetric security key algorithm. So what does that say? In both the places you have to write a secret key. That secret key you must and should share it if you have other APIs.
But he is asking how the site is able to because the payload is not encrypted in the secret.
JWT doesn't know about this.
The header and payload are never encrypted with the secret. The secret is just used to do a checksum match. So when you
You are adding a security algorithm, right? Xmatch.56 you are adding it. In that you add a secret key because you will, the symmetric security class, what it will do, it will accept your secret key. There is something called a symmetric security key class. So that what it will accept there, it will accept the byte array plus your secret key. Secret key you have to convert into byte array. So that you don't reveal that in your token. When you decode it also. Because this is very important. The secret key is important. You convert it to byte array and then you have to
Okay, I will talk to me offline. We'll explain you detail. Okay, so now you are getting a refresh token, you are getting token and you are getting refresh token. For this refresh token key, validity is 6 months, okay, and this one is 1 minute. Okay, now in the next step when I am going to write a method for the refresh token, so now no need to log in again and again. This time you will pass this particular token ID into your refresh token and it will take care of everything. Okay, so this token and refresh token also will go into that particular method which I am going to write now. So now till now what we have done, we have enter as a user, we generate a token and then in the third step we have generate a refresh token as well. Now we are writing a refresh token method which is responsible once your time get over. So that time we are going to write now. So we have a method called refresh token and this method will be responsible for generating a new token once you logged in as a user. So for that what I have done, here we have created a one more view model which is called a token request VM. Now no need to write any code on the program.cs as well because everything you have already done. We have to just generate a refresh token on that part. Okay. So here what I am doing, here we need a token and refresh token. So these two things are required for you if you want to generate a new token for your refreshing kind of thing. So refresh token is a ID kind of thing. It's not a complete token first of all. So there is a method called verify and generate a token. So in this verify and generate token, what we are doing, we are passing, first we are checking a refresh token, which is a table we have newly created in our past demo, and then we'll check this particular user IDs exist or not into the database, and then we will check our token is valid or not. If you want to check your token is valid or not, so you need a JWT token handler, which is requested from the JWT security token handler. And here we required as a parameter my token key and my parameters like issuing, issuer and all these things what we have written there. and then you required a validation token. This you will get in the output part. Now after that, it will go to your generate AWT token, which is responsible for generating a new token. So if you see here in the generating a new token, we have written like this way, like if we are passing a refresh token, then it will generate a refresh token as well, and plus you can write a null as well. So this way it will go and create a new token for that particular thing, and here it will store a new token for you. So this way things are going on, and if I am going to run this particular thing. Alright, welcome back again. So in the last before lunch, we had written the method for the refresh token, and this refresh token method was responsible to generate a token once you logged in into the system, and after that, if you want to spend more time on it, but you don't want to log in again and again. So that's what we go the concept called refresh token. So once user is log in, so that time it will generate a token, and this time it will give you a refresh token as well, and it will give you a refresh token expire at time also. So now what happened, if user is coming into the system and he's copying his particular token ID, and suppose that particular token time got expired. The user is able to log in, but after certain time he feels okay, this token is get expired. So now what we are going to do, we are passing this particular refresh token method. So in the refresh token method, you have to pass whatever token you are getting here, you have to copy this particular parameter into your parameter area. So whatever new model we have created, so this you have to pass, and then once you click on the send button, this will generate a new token with your verified way, and once your new token comes, now what you can do, you can use this particular token into your other APIs. So this home controller, I am passing this refresh token. Okay, so I am getting the access into it. So this way, no need to again and again log in as a user. Now you can get the refresh token, and with this refresh token only you can access your all these things. So certain time, if you feel this particular taking longer time, so you can generate a new token and you can access that thing. That way you can work. So last 7th step, as I said, now we'll work on the authorized part. So this is the last demo of this session. So for that, what I have done some changes. One, we have created a refresh token. So this refresh token things I have created into my FDB context. You can see this I have added here. Last time I forgot to tell you. So once you do add migration and update database, so that time this will help you to create a new table into it. And then if you come into your authentication controller area, so in the authentication controller area, you have to do some changes. After once you insert, and then you have to see a particular result is succeeded, and then you have to create your user roles. So this user roles for this particular system, I have two type of rules. One is super admin and one is employee. So based on that, whatever user is inserted, we will add these things. And now what happened? First time, because when you are working in this system for a long time, and after that you want realize like I want to generate a user roles kind of thing. So that time what you can do is you can seed your database. So for the seeding kind of thing, what I have created here I have created a new class called AppDB initializer. In the AppDB initializer, I have created this seed roles to DB. What it will do, every time once your middleware will run, internally it will check these two users are there or not. If these two users are not there, it will go and insert your things with the use of create async method. Now in your program.cs, you have to come, and in the program.cs there is a line I have written called AppDB initializer seed roles to DB. So what happened? It will generate every time. So once you run your application, it will come, it will check if these two records are there, it will not insert. If not, so it will insert. So this way, first time we want to do these things. Now I am going to run this particular application again because I want to insert my super admin and employee. As a user, I want to insert because last time we don't have any role based concept. So I will register user method again, which we have done last time, and I will So here role I am passing as a super admin because I want this as a super admin kind of thing, and here I am executing this. So from your Angular app you can create a drop down list and you can show them super admin or employee what type of user you want to insert. And then if you see the succeeded method, it will come, and if he is a super admin kind of user, so it will insert this type of user as well. So my particular role is created. Now I will create one more role called employee.
For every request, it is going to that middleware or only one time?
One time.
One time.
We are registering a user, new user.
It won't be there in configure. So it won't be there in the middleware, no? Like
No. Middleware we just want to insert as a user type table. First time when I am running my application, I want to insert these two keys, super admin and employee, as a user tab. As it's a master table, you can say. That is the thing.
I'm trying to say that like it is there in configure services kind of something. Like every time because it will load the configure function, no? So whether it will load that middleware or for every request or
No, not every request, only first time. So this is also employees created now. Now in the next step, what I am going to do is in my controllers. So here I have two types of controller. One is super admin controller. So in the super admin controller, you will not play now only with authorized keyword. You have to type your role also. So we have a role called super admin. So if this role is permission passes, then only he can access this particular method. The same way I have an employee controller, and for the employee controller we have to pass this employee. So in the token we will claim as an employee also and super admin also in the role part. So in that way it will understand. So in the JWT.io we can understand this thing, what are inside this. And in the home controller, suppose you have a situation where you want to, in one controller, based on two methods, you want to access permission. So that also you can pass here. There is a roles I am passing as an employee for this particular get employee method, and for super admin I am passing this get super admin. So this way, in one controller also you can define your roles. This way, that is also possible. Controller way also possible and method way also possible. So now we will try to enter into the system. So we have first login with super admin as a user, and then I am clicking on the send. I am getting my token, and I will jump into my home controller, and here home I will pass as super admin. And here I can get you are a super admin. Suppose employees is entering with this particular token ID, he can't enter because that particular person is not authorized to it. Okay. Now if I want to see that employee can do login these things or not, I can check with employee. Here I will pass and come my my token ID for my employee. So I can access my employees things. Now if I want to access the super admin, he can't. So this is the way you can do your roles kind of thing. Role authorization things with your token based authentication. In this particular token, what I have given you, you can, if you come to your JWT.io, here also you can take. So if you see here, we have everything. So here we have this email ID, subtype, and you can that here name as employee as well. So everything you can check here into this particular thing. So this is the one of the way you can, with the use of JWT token, you can do your things. The concept is same always. First you will send your username and password. It will give you a response as a token. And after that, if you want to work on that, you have to generate a refresh token. After that, for the roles kind of thing, you can write your own logics and everything you can write. Now, whatever today I have demonstrated, if you want to see in the code wise, so in my YouTube channel, you can see complete coding, whatever today we have done, because it's hard to remember. So if you come to this YouTube channel called Saurabh Mishra Notes, so you have to insert here, enter here, and there is a playlist, and within this week I will insert all this code. So there is a playlist called Secure API with Token Based Authentication. So here you will get all the videos what I have speak today. So here you will get all the coding things. So you can follow this particular codes and you can run your things. So each and step by step I have mentioned here. So currently you will get here the creating the DB context, and second thing you will get here the how to register a user. All these videos till Saturday you will get everything. So you can access from here. So the channel name is Saurabh Mishra Notes. So that's it from my side. Thanks for your coming guys, and thank you very much. If you have any question you can ask now.
ID we can add it, no? Like user ID automatically generating it. If I want ID